Good morning, CSL Greater Boston. I welcome the congregation present here this morning and to our live stream viewers. We welcome you to our Sunday morning service in Cambridge, lovely Cambridge, Massachusetts. To our viewers this morning, your support of our center will be appreciated, and you can make a donation by going to our cslboston.org website and click on the donate button. So today, this is a very, very special Sunday. This is the installation of our first official CSL Greater Boston members. So because of that, and we want that to be included in this live streaming, I am cutting my usual talk a little bit so that that installation can be viewed by people who were not here this morning. So our theme, the Centers for Spiritual Living's theme for 2017 is values-based living. And this month, the theme is education and continuous improvement. And my talk today is aging as a spiritual practice. Now, for the young ones in the audience and for the viewers at their home, it's never too early, trust me, to start laying that foundation and setting our consciousness around the concept of aging. So you can be 20. Start building positive thoughts concerning that time in life. So we really seem to be surrounded today by a culture that really supports an old paradigm around aging. And that's like the physical and the mental capacities as one grows into their maturing years, and then to think it's all downhill after a certain time. Now, I'm sure none of you have thought that as you have aged. But what I'd like to bring out to you today is some of the perceptions and the beliefs that are out there, that some of us buy into. So, perceptions and beliefs. After 50, your eyes start to go. See if any of these you've kind of thought about, or maybe you've heard so many times. The older you get, the slower your metabolism gets, and you gain weight more easily. Oh, wait till the next one. After 60, you never get a good night's sleep because you get up numerous times during the night to go to the bathroom.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Okay? There are so many aches and pains that come with old age. Do some of these sound familiar to any of you?
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. And you become more cranky and lose patience more easily as you get older. And lastly, but not least, you forget. You forget as you get older. So many of these statements have been made by so many people over and over again through the years. Now, doesn't that really paint a beautiful picture of your golden years? I don't think so. I don't think so. That does not paint beauty to me. Does anyone think that paints beauty? No. Oh, good. Very good. So, let me say this. We have a philosophy called the science of mind. And I am so grateful because this philosophy really gives each and every one of us the opportunity to choose, there's the key word, to choose to age functionally as well as creatively. You know, we know, people who have studied this philosophy, that we can choose to perceive any time in our life or anything the way we think about it. And we know that we can use this time to build our foundation in relation to aging, to perceive it as one that is full of potential, to bring even greater passion, greater active engagement and fulfillment in our experiences. Because you know what? There is always that infinite field of possibilities that Dr. Amit Goswami talks about all the time. There are infinite possibilities that we can grab onto as long as we're open and we have a perception of positiveness. Unless you want to go the negative route, that's totally up to you. So this can be seen as, you know, if you perceive it as so, the time of living to our full potential, living wholeheartedly, as I talked about last week. It's a time for us to truly harvest our own lives with the attention on this accumulated wisdom, the accumulated experiences, and the accumulated creativity that are now ours because of our years. So it's really time to share our harvest with all of humanity. And what I call be a uplifter to the overall vibration of life. You following me so far?
Yep.
All right, so let's look at this. An Ernest Holmes quote. Someone read that, please.
Go ahead.
Life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it.
Life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks of it. So if we profess all of those negatives that the first slide depicted, all I can say is, oh my God. That's what my golden years are going to bring me. So as I said, it's your choice. It's your choice. Your choice about your golden years. You've got that power. I'm going to tell you what I choose for my golden years. Rev Ed's golden years. This is my perception. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there. But this is what I perceive. Exercising. Teaching, as we do here in the center. I used to teach 4th and 5th graders for 33 years. Now I teach adults about all of this wonderful philosophy. That's going to continue in my golden years. Dancing. Yeah. I'm going to be out there dancing. I love to go on cruises. Cruising. I see this is my golden years. Volunteering. So important. To give back to humanity. You know, we have so many blessings that are given to us each day. And one of the great ways of keeping that flow of everything going is give back. Give back something to all of humanity. I did this at 50, that's me. Parachuting. I plan to parachute more when I'm older. That was a great experience, by the way. I suggest anyone doing it. And lastly, oh no, not lastly, this one. Cooking. I like to cook. I'm going to be doing more of that. And finally, I want to learn how to do stained glass. Stained glass. So you see this picture of someone's golden year, mine, is full of meaning. It's bright. It's shiny. It's helpful. There's passion. I am living fully and I'm paying attention to and really being grateful for all that wisdom that I've accumulated. All of that creativity I've accumulated. And again, as I said, it's my time to share it. I want to be that uplifter, the uplifter of life. So, you know, I invite you all to live from our philosophy, our science of mind philosophy, because it is one of upliftment, it is one of inclusiveness, one of limitlessness. I said it. Limitlessness. Okay? Once I meant to say limitless, and I said limitness, and I went, whoa, that's not what I mean. You know, this philosophy is one of respect and honor and abundance and creativity and joy. It really is. For the people studying this, I think you know what I'm talking about. You know? So, I found two more quotes that I think go along beautifully here. First one by Ernest Holmes. Life is not just something to be endured. It is to be lived in joy and in a fullness without limit. The only limit we have is the limit we place on ourselves. That's the only limit. The only limit. And it's not to be a life of sadness, of anything negative. That's our perception if we so choose. And I love this one by Ernest Holmes. Anything that will enable us to express greater life, greater happiness, greater power, so long as it does not harm anybody, must be the will of God. It must be the will of God. So it is the will of God for each of its creations, and we are its creations, to live wholeheartedly and live to the fullest of one's optimal potential. And this, my friends, is irregardless of age. Because as we know, age and timing does not exist in the mind of the divine. That is a human concept. It is a human concept. So now, I worked the clicker pretty nicely, don't I? Okay, so now I'm going to tell you a story. I went to the doctor a few years ago, and he said, well, Ed, you're getting older. I said, doctor, stop there. This is true. I says, please don't use that word OLD when you're looking at me. He looked at me. I says, here's another word that I'd like you to refer to me as. I am vintaging, because I'm considering myself like a glass of wine. The more vintaged I get, the better I become. I shine my light more. So doesn't the wine that we know vintages, it becomes richer, the bouquet is richer? Well, that's me. I vintage. I do not age. I do not like that word, old or aging. To me, it could be perceived as negative. So I said to the doctor, you know, that's what I'd like you to refer to me as. And I suggest you use it with your patients. They probably will like you more. And he started to laugh. Who wants to be called old? I didn't. I didn't at all. So you see, it's a perception. It's a way of thinking that I am carrying and that I entertain about my golden years. I really believe they will stay golden as long as my perception remains golden. Now, please don't think I'm standing here saying to you, well, there's going to be situations that might come about that might not really look like that. But, you know, it's like you can perceive the cup being half full or half empty. So I'm looking at it as it's half full. I'm looking at my life as a full, meaningful expression where I can share with others. So I know that as I vintage along my journey, and I call it my spiritual journey, that I'm really becoming more and more grounded in the truth of who I am. And I'm living from this state of consciousness. I am more in alignment with the divine than I've ever been. I know whose and who I am. And knowing all of that, how could my life be anything but golden? Would you agree?
Yes.
Thank you. Because you know what? It is the will of God for me. That is my perception, and that is what I live from. So all of my accumulated wisdom that I now have and all those experiences, the wonderful ones that I can share, and again, the key thing is to share it. Share it with humanity. And I really feel this is my strength and foundation that enables me to do this as I am vintaging. I know that as I go on in my journey, that I am going to become, I would like to become, for people, for others to look at, for being a real good example and model of vintaging well. Vintaging well. And I feel this could be and would be one of the nicest gifts I can give to my fellow man in this vibration. And the last story is this. In my neighborhood, there's two women who are very well vintaged. One lives on a corner here, and another one lives like over here. They're like pushing 90, bless their hearts. The one farthest from us, her lawn and her gardens and her front yard are meticulous. She goes out there every day in the summer and works in her yard for at least 3 hours a day on her knees. She's 90, digging, and this is her passion. You look at her and she's got
cutting the grass.
And she cuts her own grass. She was sick for 1 week. Her daughter did it, and she didn't like the way her daughter did it. I can't wait to get back to my grass, right? So it was so cute. And then, you drive by. Hi, how are you? She's full of energy, full of life. She still drives. She's having a wonderful life. Positive. She shares stories with us. Her knowledge she shares with people. That's one. This is a true story. The other woman has bought into so much of the negatives about what they call aging, vintaging, and she's like her own prisoner. She talks about her aches and pains. She's always not the happiest person, a lovely woman, but she's putting herself in a cage, in a prison, because of the way she's thinking. So do you see the difference? Mm-hmm. Choose the one you'd rather be, okay? Choose the path you'd like to go on. So I'm going to invite each of us to re-examine our beliefs and attitudes about vintaging. If they are not positive, if they're about loss and disintegration, you know what the good news is. And the good news is that you have the ability to change your thinking, thus change your life. I know you all know that quote. Change your thinking and change your life. So you have the power to choose vintaging creatively and with great expression, with great love, and using all of that wisdom and experience and sharing it. So it's a time to share our harvest with all of humanity, and I'd like to see each of you as an uplifter to the overall vibration of life. So I'd like to close by saying this affirmation, if we can say it together, and then we can begin our installation service. Okay, this is our affirmation. My life is a full-on expression of the passion, potential, and possibility of the wisdom and life-givingness of Spirit. And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you. Thank you. Put that to rest.
Yes.
All right, so now is the time for our wonderful, exciting, and powerful and awesome first official membership installation. So, oh yes, and these, so everyone who is becoming a member today went through one of the two orientations in order to become a member, and so they will be our first official members. And so I'd just like to begin with this membership celebration ceremony. So one of the most satisfying human experiences is to become awake and aware of one's own self-unfoldment. This opens the possibility for more of the divine potential that is already within us to be expressed through us. Choosing to commit to membership in this spiritual community, we unify ourselves with love and vision and high purpose of Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Boston. This is not the center and its members. There is only the center as its members. The body of our center community is made up of individuals who are in its hands, its feet, its head, and its heart. Within the body of the center moves the spirit of the center.
Yes.
In choosing to be a member, you have consciously and intentionally made yourselves vital to the whole, and you are an integral part in the life of this spiritual community and this teaching. Every one of us is an individualized expression of the presence of God. With each other and in our unified awareness, we share our experience of the divine. Who we are, what we say and do within the context of this spiritual journey together serves to inspire and empower one another in realizing and expressing our divine potential. As participants in this spiritual journey, we have opportunities to become increasingly aware of the power and the presence of love that indwells us all, and to live and act from that awareness. As members, we have made a commitment to our spiritual path and to sharing it with others. There are those among us who at this time in their spiritual journey have signified their desire to be members of this spiritual community. They have chosen to participate, support, and align themselves with the vision and purpose of Center for Spiritual Living Greater Boston by joining as members. I now invite the acting leadership co-chair of the Leadership Council to welcome you into membership.
Today, you are choosing to unify with each other and with the congregation of the Centers for Spiritual Living Greater Boston. In doing so, you also unify with all members, Centers for Spiritual Living throughout the world, in a warm and loving fellowship of divine spirit. As you enter into membership in thought, word, purpose, and action, you are making a public declaration of your belief in the principles of the science of mind and this center. This is an outward expression of an inward commitment to yourself, the teaching, this spiritual community, and all of humanity. As you practice these principles in your life, you are participating in the transformation of consciousness and living the vision of Center for Spiritual Living Greater Boston, which, if you would open your programs, let's read the vision and mission together. Okay? If you don't have a program, raise your hand, we can get you one. Okay. Perfect. Okay, let's begin. The vision, the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Boston, is a warm, safe, diverse, open, and inviting community. Through the teaching and living of the principles of the science of mind philosophy, we draw together as one, unfolding and expanding in consciousness with ease, joy, humor, and infinite love. Our mission, which is the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Boston, is a gathering place where heightened consciousness, expanded knowledge, and personal enlightenment are revealed through guiding, inspiring, and teaching the principles and practices of the science of mind philosophy. So as you join in membership, the experience of each is deepened and expanded into greater good For as you enter into a life of service to humankind, to life itself, and to God, you consciously become one with the very spirit of the divine presence. The obligation placed upon you is the obligation you place on yourself in the fulfillment of our shared vision and mission. Your commitment is in your own heart and mind. I trust that each of you is confident in your heartfelt commitment. On behalf of our Leadership Council and the congregation of Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Boston, I so lovingly welcome and receive each of you into membership.
And so now I ask for our members to please stand, the new members who have completed the orientation. And so I'm going to ask you to repeat after me. This is your covenant of membership. As a member, I commit to my sacred study
I commit to my sacred study
to grow in spiritual awareness.
to grow in spiritual awareness.
I commit to giving
I commit to giving
of my time and talent
of my time and talent
in sacred service
in sacred service
to Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Boston.
to the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Boston.
I commit to sacred circulation
I commit to sacred circulation
of my treasure
of my treasure
to support the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Boston.
to support the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Boston.
I commit to my practice
I commit to my practice
of the science of mind principles
of the science of mind principles
in my daily life.
in my daily life.
I commit to seeing the divinity in all of life.
I commit to seeing the divinity in all of life.
I commit to my spiritual practice
I commit to my spiritual practice
so that I may show up as my highest self.
so that I may show up as my highest self.
I commit to expressing my spiritual magnificence
I commit to expressing my spiritual magnificence
to my community and the world.
to my community and the world.
You may be seated. So now you're going to be doing something. Okay, but I'm going to be doing something first. We both are. So we will be giving you a white rose each. And this white rose that you will be receiving stands for three things: spirituality, marriage, and new beginnings. As each new member deepens their spiritual path by joining Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Boston, they have committed to the membership covenant, like a marriage. And like all marriages, it is a new beginning. Okay? So, Ashe, yes. So as a testament and seal upon the sacred vows that you just took and said, I'm going to ask each of you to come forward when called to speak a word or quality of spirit that you receive from this community. So that's your first task. A word will go to two. A word or two that is a quality of spirit that you receive from this community. And then we'd like you also to speak a word or two or of a quality of spirit that you bring to the community. Okay, so just think what you receive and what you bring. And I ask that all of you here, our witnesses, openly receive and embrace the gift or the many gifts of these qualities of spirit. Okay, so I'm going to call your name. You will be getting a certificate, and then there's an envelope. And in that envelope, there is a letter from Rev G and myself. There is your membership card, which we had, what do you call it?
Laminated.
Thank you, both sides. I had to do that myself in 2002 years. I will laminate them. And then there is this little special gift that each of you will receive by being members also. All right, so even if someone isn't here, because we know a couple of people have, could not be here today, I'm going to say their name so we can honor them, knowing that they are here in spirit. So the first person is Wendy Alstetler. I said that wrong. How do you say her name?
Oshuler.
Thank you. Wendy Oshuler. Excuse me, Wendy. So she's the first person. Let's little clap for Wendy. This goes alphabetically. So if your last name begins with S or T, you can kind of match. Here's Vicky Barrios. And your Rose.
My word is serenity. I get serenity from all of you. And what I bring to you is kindness.
Valerie Benjamin. Thank you. All right. And as we're giving Valerie a second, we're going to take pictures.
I've got pictures. I've got.
Oh, good. Can you take a picture of each one of them? Valerie? Now, I must say, Valerie has been with us since the artist studio in 2011. And I get a big hug from you, my dear. I love you, honey. And here's your envelope, and here's your rose. Blessings. Yes. And if you'd like to say what you bring and what you receive, that would be great.
Okay. I love holding consciousness. I just don't come out of it very easily. What I bring is my loving presence. And what I give, no.
But you receive from the community.
Bring and give is the same. What I receive is everybody else's loving presence. So thank you.
Thank you. Nancy Bunsen.
Hey, Nancy.
Hey, you walked on me here this morning. So what I get from the center is I'm learning more about the teachings and getting to know everybody, is getting healing and transforming into love and for the divine alignment. And I know it's too early to count. Anyway, what I hope I bring is a lot of electric energy, because when I have a lot of artistic energy, that just organic energy, and it doesn't seem to change with age from what I've experienced. So,
Shaw Carver. Caver.
I know, you've been doing it ever since I know.
Ever since
For years!
Is that Rhode Island thing?
I know.
How did you like the accent? How did you like that accent?
I accept it all. The greatest of these is love. And that's what I receive from this center, is an abundance of love for which my life would have no meaning. And what I give is my willingness and open-heartedness to share that love for the healing for each one of us and for the healing of the planet. I love you all.
Liza Coleman.
much. I couldn't come up with like one word I get from the center, but I get transformation from the Revs, from the philosophy, and from all of you and everyone's authentic stories, and I get clarity, and I get guidance and peace, and I'll stop there. And what I bring is enthusiasm, and I bring joy, and I bring love, because I love all of you, and I love all people, and everyone's journey, and everything we can learn from each other. And so thank you.
Christina Connolly,
Yay!
otherwise known as Steve.
So bring first and then.
Whatever, yeah, whatever you like.
So it's hard to decide what word to use because there's so many things that I receive from this center and all of you and the Revs. But I guess I'm gonna say love and healing. With the teachings, I definitely have felt like I've been in alignment with Spirit and just really healed a lot of parts of myself that have been, worried, and so I've felt that feeling of healing, and I bring love and enthusiasm and openness. Myself, I like to open myself and share myself openly with no holds barred. So that's what I bring.
Barbara Epstein, who couldn't be here today. Let's clap for Barbara. For the people who know the alphabet. Dan Hutton.
We ain't nothing without Red Hutton.
So what I receive is so much love and acceptance. What I bring is so much love and acceptance. Thank you.
Mariana Kruger.
Mariana,
Did I say the last name correctly?
You did.
Wow. I'm getting better as I
You go with
From this community, I derive so many things, among them wisdom and encouragement, and I hope to bring my creativity to you all.
Yay.
Maria McCullough.
Maria!
Girl named Maria.
Also, I have so much words, healing, and acceptance, and I give love.
Leanne Nixon.
Oh, thank you.
What are the questions again?
What you receive is what you
The
give.
center and what you give.
Receive interconnectedness, for one. Support, the love that I can really feel. And what I hope to give is the idea that transformation, your power and your presence and your ability to move into the future is right next door. It's right here, right now. We can do this. So I get a lot of support from the group, and I just want that to continue.
Yay.
Paul Rath.
That wasn't right. You don't get it.
What is it? Oh, Rathy. Rathy?
Yeah. You could have done that ahead of time.
Okay.
No, not in this lighting. No. Not too much.
Everybody else has got to do it.
You're right.
One with the one.
I bring a much needed Y chromosome. I was going to say something else. Stop it. I get a lot of hugs that I need, but I don't always like, but I need them, so thank you. I get grounding and traction, good farm terms. I had to ask the beloved Liza what I bring because I wasn't sure, and she told me authenticity and humor.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Carol Thomas.
So, I was thinking, because I get to be the last, that I ought to say something profound, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to say the words that came to me. And that is, what I get from this community is acceptance. And that's exhilarating to me. It gives me the strength and the exuberance to move through my week, which is sometimes not always so accepting. And so I really appreciate that. And what I think I bring is my essence, which is, as I think about those words, an expansive heart that's caring and cares about integrity. And that comes through, I think, by being authentic. So I appreciate being in a place where that's a good thing. So thank you. But I bring chills.
Please go back up. I didn't take the picture of you
Vicky,
because
could
I
you
didn't
just,
get my
yeah,
camera.
hold up, yeah, thank you.
Pretend it's a little clap for you again, baby.
Yeah, well,
All right. So if I could have our new members stand.
Wow. Nice.
As your spiritual leader, and on behalf of the Leadership Council, practitioners, and congregation of this center, I gratefully and lovingly receive each of you into full membership in this spiritual community. Blessings and welcome home.
Yes, very good idea.
Photos.
Let's just, we'll end this, but we're still being on live stream. So
Okay,
yeah.
and then, okay.
Oh, so now it's time. Have a seat. I'm going to do a spiritual mind treatment. Okay, so now let's all just sit. Close your eyes. Take in that installation this morning. And as you take it in, just know your magnificence. Know who and whose you are. Breathe in the love that's in this room. Just be for a moment. And the purpose of this treatment this morning One is that I know that each one here vintages in their golden years as being meaningful, purposeful, and full of strength and vigor. And secondly, I know that as we have our first official members in this spiritual community, CSL Greater Boston, that the foundation has begun anew again. So coming from this purpose, these purposes, I know that the air I breathe, that the mountains that I see, that the warmth of the wind that I feel, the noise of a trickling brook and stream is God, is Buddha, is Allah. Knowing that this is that infinite energy that shows up in manifest form. Because that's all that there is that infinite energy, that loving presence, that is in, through, and as everything that we see and everything that we do not see. It is all God, it is all good, it is all very, very good. Breathe that in. Just breathe that in for a moment. And as I know this about the divine, I know this about myself. I am one with that essence. I am that essence in microcosm. I am whole. I am perfect. I am complete. And as that is my truth, that is the truth of all here today and throughout the cosmos. Each unique, individualized expression is an expression of the divine, so beautifully expressed in so many diverse, beautiful ways. And as each one shows up and shows their light and shines their light and shares their light, each one is saying, look at God in expression. Look how I show up. Oh. And what that does for all of humanity, it's an uplifter for all of humanity. Just by your presence, I know this. I feel this from the depths of my being, because each one is interconnected with each other. Each one is interconnected with the divine. Each one is inseparable. It is all one. It is all good. It is all very, very good. And I now speak the word for all here today. I know and I realize that the foundations of vintaging has made a transformation here this morning, because I know there's an openness and a willingness to perceive those beautiful golden years as powerful, as meaningful, and as purposeful as any year in your life prior to whenever you feel your golden years are. And as each of you show up sharing all of the wisdom that you have, you can be nothing but an uplifter for all of humanity. I know this. And I see you showing up with smiles on your face, walking and strutting around with, here I am, I'm vintaged and I'm good, and I get better every day as I vintage. I know this, and I feel this for each of you, and see this. And as each of you today have become CSL Greater Boston's first official members with your cards and certificates, I know that this group, the energy from this group, sets a beautiful, meaningful foundation for this philosophy to remain here in Massachusetts and be spread throughout the New England area with new centers, with new teaching chapters opening up. I know this, I feel this, and these, all of you, are the foundation for this philosophy here as a spreader and an uplifter. And I say amen to that.
Amen.
Thank you. And I am grateful knowing what I know, that I know that I know what I know that I know. And I am so grateful for each and every one here today. This is what love is about. This is what caring is about. That is what I am grateful for. And I release this prayer into the law of cause and effect, knowing that this is already done in the mind of God. Therefore, it's already done in each of our minds, because each mind is one with the one. Please join me in rooting this truth by saying, and so it is. Amen.
Amen.
And a women.
A women.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And so it is.